In the previous episode, we started building the town of Springvalley from the ground up. Roads were laid out, the first neighborhoods were zoned, and the basic services needed to support the town were put into place. By the end of the episode, Springvalley reached the boom town milestone, marking the first major step in the city's growth. But Springvalley is only the beginning. The long-term plan is to develop several smaller towns across the region that will eventually grow together into a much larger metropolitan area. Today, our focus remains on Springvalley as we push the population toward the next milestone, Busy Town. Now that Springvalley has reached the boom town milestone, the first thing I want to do is clean up some of the early infrastructure that the city no longer needs. When the town was smaller, we relied on power lines running across the map to deliver electricity to the neighborhoods. But as the city has grown, those lines are no longer necessary. So the first step today is to remove those old power lines and simplify the power distribution across the city. With the old power lines removed, the next improvement is relocating the wind turbines. Right now, they are sitting closer to the residential neighborhoods than I would like, and wind turbines generate a noticeable amount of noise pollution that can affect nearby housing. To avoid that problem, I'm moving the turbines to a hill near the industrial district. This keeps the noise away from the residential areas where it could lower land value. The hill also has stronger wind, which means the turbines will produce more electricity from the same number of generators. Relocating them here also opens up valuable land near the city center, which can now be used for additional housing as Springvalley continues growing toward the busy town milestone. What I'm trying to do here is create a dedicated truck route into the industrial district. The idea is to allow delivery trucks coming off the interstate to bypass the roundabout and avoid using the road that leads into the residential neighborhoods. In theory, this should keep heavy traffic away from the housing area and make the road network more efficient. However, the way I initially placed the roads creates an unexpected problem. Cars and trucks end up conflicting with each other at the intersection, which causes vehicles to slow down and stop. Very quickly, traffic begins backing up all the way toward the interstate exit. Fixing this turned out to be a little more challenging than expected, so I need to rework the layout to make the truck route function the way it was intended. As you can see, traffic starts backing up here almost immediately. The trucks and cars are all trying to use the same intersection, and it quickly creates a bottleneck coming off the interstate. After trying a few different road layouts, I finally found a solution that works much better. Instead of forcing industrial trucks through the same intersection used by residential traffic, I created a separate entrance directly into the industrial district. This allows delivery trucks to reach the factories without interfering with the main traffic flow coming off the interstate. Once the industrial traffic was separated from the residential routes, congestion cleared almost immediately and vehicles began moving smoothly again. With the traffic problem solved, I also wanted to try something a little different with the city layout. Instead of placing all of the commercial buildings in one large district, I'm going to mix small businesses directly into the residential neighborhoods. The idea is that if people can shop closer to where they live, it should reduce the number of longer trips across the city and help keep traffic levels lower as Spring Valley continues to grow. This kind of mixed development can sometimes make a big difference in how traffic flows through a city. As Spring Valley continues growing toward the busy town milestone, I begin thinking about the next phase of development for the region. Instead of allowing future expansion to push all of the traffic through Spring Valley, I want to start planning for a second town nearby. So at this point, I decide to purchase a new section of land that will eventually become Riverdale. One of the most important requirements for this new area is that it has direct access to the interstate, which will allow traffic to reach the town without passing through Spring Valley first. This should help keep the traffic in Spring Valley under control as the region continues to grow. As the city continues expanding, there is one important thing to keep in mind. I believe I mentioned this earlier, but it's worth repeating. If you build too quickly without considering the education cycle, businesses can begin abandoning the city because there simply aren't enough educated workers available. Education in city skylines takes time. Citizens need to progress through the school system before they can fill the higher skill jobs that many businesses require. If the city grows faster than the population can become educated, you can end up with buildings abandoning even though the city itself is still growing. Another thing to keep in mind when managing a growing city is how to deal with abandoned buildings. When a business becomes abandoned, it's usually a good idea to demolish it fairly quickly. Leaving abandoned buildings in place can lower the land value in the surrounding area, which can start affecting nearby homes and businesses as well. By removing the abandoned structure, you allow new development to move in and keep the neighborhood healthy as the city continues to grow. Every once in a while, it's a good idea to check how well the city's public transportation is working. In this case, I'm going to take a quick look at the bus system and see how many passengers are actually using it. Public transportation can help reduce traffic over time, but only if citizens are using the routes regularly. And with that, Spring Valley reaches the busy town milestone, pushing the population past 5,000 citizens. This is an important step in the city's development, unlocking additional services and giving us more tools to support the growing population. Now that the milestone has been reached, it's a good time to take a step back and make sure the city's infrastructure and services are keeping up with the expansion. During the push toward busy town, most of the focus was on growing the population and expanding residential areas. So now I want to spend a little time reviewing the city and adding anything that may have been overlooked. One of the things I want to add is a library, which will help improve education levels in the city and support the businesses that require a more educated workforce. At this stage, the goal is to keep Spring Valley stable and running smoothly as the population continues to grow. With the library now in place, the next thing I want to address is fire coverage. As Spring Valley continues to expand, some areas of the city are starting to fall outside the effective range of the original fire station. To make sure the growing neighborhoods remain properly protected, I'm going to place a second fire station to cover the areas that the first station can't reach. This should help improve emergency response times and keep the city better protected as the population continues to grow. With the city continuing to grow, I also decided to add the Institute of Creative Arts. Buildings like this help improve education and provide additional opportunities for citizens, which can support higher-skilled jobs and contribute to the overall development of the city. As Spring Valley grows larger, investments like this help ensure the city continues moving in the right direction. As you can see here, several industrial buildings are now reporting a shortage of educated workers. This happened almost immediately after adding the library and the Institute of Creative Arts. Education takes time in city skylines, and the workforce hasn't had enough time to move through the school system yet. For now, the best thing I can do is remove any abandoned buildings and allow the education system time to catch up with the city's growth. With Spring Valley now past the busy town milestone, the city is beginning to feel much more established. In this episode, we worked through several important challenges, including improving the traffic layout, expanding residential areas, and adding services like a library and additional fire protection to support the growing population. We also saw how quickly education can impact the workforce and why it's important to add those services early so the city can keep up with the needs of local businesses. For now, the focus will be on keeping Spring Valley stable while the education system catches up and the city continues to grow. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share the video. It really helps the channel grow. In the next episode, we'll begin planning the development of Riverdale, a new town that will eventually connect with Spring Valley as the region expands. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.